Welcome back, everybody. My name is Taylor Martin. This is the best Damn EDC, and today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite companies in the EDC realm and all of the cool stuff they've been doing over the last 2 to 3 years. They started as a pen company and made some really cool pens, some of my favorites ever. And they've added new wrinkles to their game and come out with new and fresh products, and they focus heavily on design. They're very good at it. And if you haven't figured it out by now, it's Big Idea Design. They've been a sponsor of the channel for a long time, very good personal friends of mine, and they do cool stuff. So today I want to show you all of their new stuff that they've done since the last time I did a video about them back in like 2020, maybe 2019, maybe even. It's been a long time. So with that said, this is Big Idea Design and all of their cool new stuff, and let's do the damn thing. So there's a lot to talk about here with Big Idea Design. They've come out with a lot of new products in the last 2 to 3 years. But I think the most logical place to start is with their newest item, which is the TI Pocket Knife. This thing is available right now on Kickstarter, and as of the time of this recording, there are 26 days left in the campaign. It is funded, so it's gonna happen. No worries about that. But what you have here is a titanium frame locking knife. It's a flipper on bearings. It has this nice spear point blade with a very high hollow grind on it. The ergos on it are really nice. I like it. The lockup's good, the action's good, centering's good. Like, everything about this is rock solid. I think they also got the pricing right. $220 for what you get is really solid, but there's also the early bird for the Kickstarter. It's $180, so you can save $40 right now, and there are plenty of spots left in the early bird pricing. However, even after that, it goes up to $200. So you still save money if you back the Kickstarter. I do get some wee banter vibes from this. It's different, it's plenty different, but there are some similarities, right? You've got this same kind of spear point blade. They've got similar shaped handles, not, dead ringer or anything. They're different lines to them. This has this nice big finger groove, and I do think the ergonomics on this are better than the wee banter, and it's bigger as well. What I think I'm trying to say is that if you do like the banter, you're probably also gonna like this thing. But this one's a frame lock instead of a liner. You get some added benefit there and a different vibe because this is all titanium, which is really where Big Idea Design thrives. This is a really solid first entry into knives for Big Idea Design. And yeah, for me, it's really cool to finally see this happen because I saw prototypes of this thing like 3 and 4 years ago. So I'm so glad to finally see them make this come to life. And it comes just a few months after this, which is the TI utility knife. I mean, it's basically the same thing, but you've got a blade on this one, an S35 VN spear point, and this one you've got a replaceable utility knife. It's like a high-end version of like a Milwaukee utility knife, right? But you've got very similar elements to like the TPT, right? You've got that same mechanism. This is a similar mechanism that you have on Milwaukee, but it looks like the TPT on the front end here. And something I didn't mention when talking about the knife that I should have is the clip. That's something I really like about both of these. The way that they do their clips now, it's the same way they do it on the pens, is when you have this set up as a right-handed carry knife, which it is right now, on the show side, there's no empty screws for having a reversible clip, which is so nice. It's so clean. I hate having just empty holes on the side that you don't have the clip installed on. I just think it looks gross. But the way they do this with these two knives and with their pens is on the very end of it, there is this little cap that's held in by one screw, and you unscrew that, flip it around and screw it back down, and you have a left-hand carry knife or a left-hand bolt action pen or something like that. I think that's really clean. I like both of the utility knife and the TI pocket knife. Really sick options from Big Eye. And those are 2 of the newest products from them. All right, let's talk about another product from Big Idea Design, and that is the TI Pry Bar. Again, Big Eye, just very, very straightforward with their naming. You know what the product is when you read the product name. This is a pry bar made of titanium, and that's really all there is to know about it. You don't have a reversible clip on this one, but you do have a clip. You have a lanyard hole and a pry end, and just some little design elements. And then you also have this little fidget area with these little sliders and this magnetic track. So you have brass so that it's self-lubricating and doesn't like scratch like titanium would. And if you so wish, you can actually get these out of here. I don't know why you would want to, but you can. What it reminds me of are those little the little puzzles, right? The little 9 number, there's only 8 numbers. It's 1 through 8, but it's a 9 grid puzzle and you have to get the numbers in order. So in a way it's kind of cathartic, but you can also make it really clicky and whatnot. But you're looking for a really solid, simple pry bar with a deep carry clip. There you go. Another recent entry from Big Idea Design, one of my favorites that they've ever created, is this. This came out, I think last year. It might've been late 2021. I cannot remember because, you know, everything's a blur now, but this is the Bar Inline. So it's a screwdriver. They've made screwdrivers for a few years now. The Bar was their first, and then they had the TI EDS. Now we have the Bar Inline, and this is just a screwdriver that holds bits in the handle. This flips around. You also have a T handle and an offset, so you can get extra torque on there. The biggest complaint was it only holds 3 bits, and that's valid, that's fair. So they made this. It's slightly larger, and they made a very, very, very cool and smart change in my opinion. This is the Bar Inline Max, and they switched from 1/4 inch bits, standard 1/4 inch bits, to the Leatherman bit style. So these are their own bits that they're creating, but if you want to swap these out, you can buy the Leatherman bit kit and put your own bits in here. Very cool. And what that also means is you can put the Leatherman ratchet or the Leatherman extension in here, and in that you can still use 1/4 inch bits. So you can get the best of both worlds if you carry that Leatherman ratchet driver. But you get the same concept here. T handle, offset T. And this is one of my favorite freaking screwdrivers to use because it's just so handy. It's like the screwdriver that my grandpa used to carry in his pocket protector, because he actually had a pocket protector and put a screwdriver and pins in there. You know, just the standard one that would flip around. You'd have flat head on one side and Phillips on the other, but it's just that on steroids, and it looks so much cooler. It's like a high-end version of that. So this was one of the first tools I had from Big Eye. My very first was the TPT, and then they sent me a Bar. And I thought this thing was so cool. It does have an extension. I don't think I brought it in here, but you have 8 bits stored in the handle. They're held in with magnets. You can push this open, move a bit to the end, and then you have a screwdriver. Also, you can remove these bits right here, and you have a bottle opener built into the handle as well. So now we have the Bar 2, and the big differences between these, there's actually quite a few differences. They're subtle, but they're very big in terms of like practicality. This one's a little bit thicker now, so you can see here, just a little bit thicker, but not too noticeably so. If you'd never handled them side by side, you probably wouldn't even notice. But the difference you have is the lanyard hole has been moved to this angle, this like corner here, so that the clip can be a little more deep carry. And you notice that this little insert is gone on this one, and that's because they've switched to a little slider option instead. And I do think it's easier to use, only because this is like almost in a bad position because it kind of wants to pinch up, or I don't know, it's kind of a weird position. This just is way easier to use and actuate. And then they've also added the ability to use this as a kind of a 3/4 driver, or whatever you want to call that angle, 45 angle driver. So you have 2 options for putting bits in the end, where on this one, it's only in the very end of it. Still comes with an extension and a little leather holder. But other than that, and this one obviously, because of it not having this gap here, not having a bottle opener on it, that's it. They've made it they've refined it. And I think all good changes here. It works really well and would go well in like a little toolkit or a pouch or something like that. And likewise, they refined the EDS, or the everyday screwdriver. So this is the original one. This is a screwdriver with a thumb stud, a lock bar, magnetic retention, and you have bit storage in the back here. So the original, you can store 3 bits. You have one in the actual handle, and then 2 bits. This one, they've cut that groove out just like they did in the Bar Inline, so that you can store 1 more bit in the shank of the screwdriver. Other than that, the only real change is similar to the Bar 2, and that is that they've made this clip a little bit more deep carry. The next item I almost forgot to talk about because it was on my wrist. This is the TI Field Watch from Big Idea Design, and I really like this watch, honestly. It's a really solid, simple, clean field watch from my buddies over at Big Eye. But it doesn't normally come on this titanium bracelet. It comes on one of these 2, or there's more NATOs than this, but they made these NATOs with titanium buckles, and these are really, really, really good NATO straps. This is my favorite leather NATO, period. I've tried a lot of them, The Big Idea Design one is great. It's Horween leather. It's very thin, so it doesn't feel bulky. A lot of NATOs feel huge, especially when you're using leather. They use the right weight leather on this and it feels wonderful. And then you also have canvas. The watch itself comes in either solar or automatic. I have the solar here because I have so many automatics. I was like, hey, let's go solar. And I do really like this watch a lot. The thing is, I didn't wear it a ton. And the main reason for that is because it doesn't come on a bracelet. And I would say 95% of the time, if I'm wearing a watch that's not like a smartwatch, I want it to be on a bracelet. And in fact, both my smartwatches I have bracelets for. So you might be wondering, how do you get a titanium bracelet to match this watch if they don't sell a bracelet for it? The easy answer for that is RZE. So RZE is actually who is making the TI Field Watch for Big Idea Design. And all I did was steal the bracelet off of this watch. I don't know if RZE sells the bracelet separately, but if you have one, just by chance, it will fit the TI Field Watch from Big Eye almost perfectly. There is a slight mismatch in like the chamfering on the lugs and the in-link, but it's so subtle that I don't even notice it. And that elevates this watch for me. It's a great watch already, but I'm a bracelet guy. The only other thing to note about the Field Watch is that it comes in this stonewashed titanium, or you can get it in black. I believe it might be PVD, but it's a black coated titanium watch or this stonewashed. All right, there we go. There it is on the leather strap, which, oh man, it looks great on this. And I do wear it like this from time to time. I mean, again, I'm still mostly a bracelet guy. And the loom is especially good on this thing for whatever reason. Just shines all night, which is better than it's more than I can say for a lot of my other watches. All right, next up we have two really cool pins from Big Idea Design. And they're only gonna be cool to you, I think, if you're interested in fountain pins, which I was not until I got my hands on this one. They actually sent me the plain stonewashed one, and I carried this for months and months. And then of course I love Zerk, so I got a Zerk one, but you can see the wear on these. I've carried these both a lot. I really like these pins a lot, and I previously was not a fountain pen user at all. I'd had a Kaweco Lilliput, and several people from the Discord sent me fountain pens to try out. They were like, you're definitely gonna like it if you try this pen. And I just never had any success with it. I didn't write well with it. I'm left-handed, and you really have to kind of push and write with a fountain pen, which is a little tricky. So you gotta hold it a little different. But yeah, I've had no issues with these pens. I really like them. So this one is just a pull cap, and it has a Boss nib in here. I swapped the nibs because I liked that stainless one, the non-coated one, a little more. It just worked a little better for me, and I've been using the Zerk one, but the nibs on these are swapped, and that's why I barely have it now. But yesterday I had ink everywhere, all over this desk. And these come with a refillable insert or one of these from Kaweco. Really cool fountain pen that I've really enjoyed. And this is their first fountain pen. I believe it was their first, but this is called the TI Ultra. So this is just the fountain EDC. This is the TI Ultra. It's quite a bit larger, but the reason is because this one's like a full fountain pen. It feels the hands a lot better, and it's a twist cap. However, you might notice I don't have a nib in here, and that's because this is an adjustable or an adaptable pen. You can swap it between this little refill here that we've got. There's another, what is it doing? Oh, it's a chuck. This is a chuck for the front end. It's an adjustable chuck. Holy crap. All right, I don't know if we can show. Can you see this? There's a chuck, just like on a drill, that holds this refill down. So this works like the TI Arto. The TI Arto is a pen from Big Eye that can use basically any refill ever because it has this adjustable chuck. And you can see that slides in very easily there, and then you can twist. You can adjust how far it sticks out, as well as, I mean, it's locked in there now. Wow, I didn't even know that. That's so cool, I just learned that. But the point is, you can take this out, and if you put this in here, you then have a fountain pen. Got it all back together. So you get a spare nib, you have this with the refillable cartridge on it, and then a rollerball / ballpoint refill that will hold just about anything. Very neat. And it's very easy to change. I was afraid that when I saw this like adaptable thing back when they first came out with this, I didn't look too far into it because I wasn't a fountain pen person. I was afraid that it would be really hard to swap things and change it over, but it's really quite straightforward. All right, next up we have these two right here, and they probably look pretty similar to you. In fact, if you were to look at these right now, the only difference you might notice is that the the resting position of the bolts is a little bit different. One bolt rests a little bit higher than the other if you have them like even. Here's the trick. This is the slim bolt action pin from Big Eye. Just to show you the original bolt action right here, you have a standard bolt action from Big Eye, and it has that wider grip that you see on the Pocket Pro, their regular click pins. This is what Big Idea Designs pins mostly look like until you got to the slim line. And all this does is give it a thinner grip, which, you know, for better or worse, in your opinion, and it puts the internals for adjustment for taking all the different refills that their pins use on the inside. So this one, you can just twist this out to accommodate a larger refill, and it will auto adjust to whatever refill you've got, right? You just twist to make it fit whatever refill you like. This pin, you have to use an adjustment, a Torx, to adjust the internals in and out to accommodate different length refills. This one also has a fixed length, whereas the originals adjust to the size of the refill. So if you have a longer refill, you can make this a longer pin. If you have a shorter refill, you make it a shorter pin. This one, if you have a longer or shorter refill, doesn't matter. The pin will always be the same, but the internals are what's changing. So that's your main difference between the original bolt action or click or whatever, the original pins, and then the slim versions. All of the adjustment is done on the inside through this end cap, and they come with two caps, one that's open like this one and one that's closed and looks like this. So if you don't want stuff getting down in there, you can use the closed cap, but it does ship with both, so you get to choose which cap you want on the top. But that's it. It looks more like that one, actually. However, let's go back to this first one that I said looked the same. The only difference you really see from the outside is the track of the bolt. And that's because this one is a pencil and this one is a pin. They have a bolt action mechanical pencil, which is freaking cool. It's really cool. I actually have one in my pocket right now in Zerk. Actuates just like a bolt action pin. However, to advance the lead refill that you've got inside, you just click that bolt down and you can actually leave it out. You can leave that lead out, close it up, and your lead's not gonna break. It's a freaking genius design. It's really quite smart. And if you want like a matching pen and pencil, you can do that now. It's really, really great, honestly. Like, this is what I was waiting for. I think the biggest concern for me is that it doesn't have like a built-in eraser. So if you do mess up, you've got to have an eraser. It does come with an eraser in the box, as well as different refills. So let me take this out real quick. If you open this up, you have a Schmidt mechanical pencil insert, and this is for 0.7 millimeter. It ships with 3. You have a 0.5, 0.7, and 0.9, so you get to choose what lead. You get all 3. You don't have to choose it when you buy it. You can choose later if you want. I'm actually just noticing this for the first time, but they've really beefed up those clips. Look at this clip on the bolt action versus the mechanical pencil. That is a much beefier clip. It's a milled clip, it looks like. However, the bolt action slim or slim bolt action pin, these are available right now, have been out for a while. The bolt action mechanical was actually a Kickstarter project that ended just a week or so ago. So these are in production and they'll be shipping later this year to people who backed the Kickstarter. And then once that's out, they'll be available for purchase as well. But yeah, that's cool. I had no idea that they beefed up that clip a lot, like a lot. I wonder if my Zerk clip isn't. But that is a really beefy clip. That's good. That's really good. All right, I don't know why I didn't talk about this a second ago, but we do have the slim bolt action and the slim click. I forgot to mention the slim click. Same idea, right? You have a thinner version of the original click pin, which is one of my favorite pins of Big Idea Designs. I just love the silent click mechanism. It doesn't click like a normal click pin. And it's just kind of satisfying for some reason. It's odd at first, but then once you get used to it, it's really satisfying. But it's the same concept, right? It's just thinner. It doesn't have that thicker grip that most of the original Big Idea Design pins had. And the big difference between like these two is how the internals adjust. This one, you go in through the top and adjust it with a Torx. This one, you're not gonna be able to see this on camera, but you screw this pin cap off, and this is for the slim click. Take the refill out, and there is a Phillips set screw down in there, and you would adjust it up and down. So you've got to have a long, skinny Phillips screwdriver to get to that. Finally, we have the dual side click pin. So looks just like the original click pin, very similar, and it looks just like the bolt action. Like, this is quintessential big headed design pen, but you have a dual side click. So it is ambidextrous, works just the same if you're left or right-handed, and it's very fidgety. And listen to that. It's such a weird sound compared to like a normal click. Listen to when you push the button to retract it. It's got this like puff sound, like I don't know. It's deadened, but it sounds cool. These things are very fidgety, but this is same thing as the bolt action, right? You can adjust the size of the pen to accommodate the refill on the inside. So all of these pens, and including the mini versions and the twist pens, all of their pens now come in different materials as well. I think I have one brass here. So this is a dual side clip and brass. They have copper pens as well. So all of these, except for the TI Ultra, come in brass, copper, titanium in 3 different finishes, and zirconium, which is this little black material here. So the titanium comes in this stonewashed finish, as well as a raw and a black DLC, which looks a lot like the Zirc, but it's more black. So the Zirc has this like really dark gray tone to it, and the PVD black is very, very dark black. So you have something for everybody, right? They have so many options in pens. So I think the main takeaway though is, I mean, Big Eye has been making pens for as long as I've known about them. That was their original thing, but I think the main takeaway from this is the emphasis on titanium pocket tools, right? The TPT slide have been some of my favorite things ever. This is one of my favorite pieces of gear that I've had since the start of the channel, or well, since this thing came out. This thing is so used and abused, it's polished. The original finish on this looked like all of these tools, and it's a shiny polish now because I've used it and carried it so much. So the TPT slide is definitely one of my favorite things of all time. But the main takeaway here is the emphasis on pocket tools and especially knives. Big Idea Design wants to send home the message that knives are going to be a focus for them moving forward. And these tools are great. They make tools that nobody else is making, like this EDS, a frame locking thumb stud screwdriver. It makes you say why, but also, why not? This thing is great. It's compact. It's very, very useful. It holds 4 bits, which is more than enough for like a little toolkit. This thing is awesome and extremely compact. Goes very, very well in like a 5th pocket. There isn't another screwdriver like that. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Show all of this new stuff. And I think most of you probably didn't even know that Big Eye was, you know, digging into so many different facets of EDC. They're expanding and they're doing some really cool stuff. So go check them out. Hit the link in the description down below. I do have an affiliate code with them. If you use carry on or just click the link in the description down below, you'll get 10% off at purchase on their website. Not over on like Amazon or anything, but yeah, hit the link down below, check it out. And that's it. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you found it helpful. We'll see you in the next video. And until then, carry on.